Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. What you see here is we are sweeping up all the blooms that we cut off the petunias. Almost all the blooms are off. In this video, you're going to see why we did it, how we did it, and we will also at the end see the recovery after 7 days and 9 days when the blooms are coming back. Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. I'm at the school today. My horticulture class has planted petunias along the sidewalk going from one hall to the gym. And historically we've done tulips, but we didn't have tulips this year. And I wanted to do petunias. We've grown petunias before, but not done them on the sidewalk. And the nice thing about, I think tulips are amazingly beautiful, but they come and go so quickly. Petunias can last throughout the year. But we've got a problem. So the petunias were nice and we're starting to flower before the end of the school year. The school year is over, and now we want the petunias to look really nice when the kids come back at the start of the next school year in August. So what we're going to be doing here, I have my gardening club that helps maintain and water the vegetable garden and the flowers during the summer. We are cutting back the petunias aggressively today, and so what that's going to do is some of these are getting really tall and leggy, and once they produce a lot of seed, then they feel like they've completed their life cycle and they die off or start to diminish. So by cutting most of these blooms off and bringing them down a shorter length, we're going to get these flowers to continue to want to grow and to continue their life cycle. And so we're hoping that if my gardening club continues to water, fertilize, and prune these, and then a couple weeks before school starts, we'll quit pruning and we'll let them go back up, and hopefully we'll have this much color on the sidewalk again in the fall. Let's start with one that's a pretty easy one to start with because it's got good height, but when you go to cut back, you always get nervous that you're cutting back too much. But this one, as I cut back, and I'm cutting back about 1/3 of the height, you can see back in here as I expose this, there's a lot of new branches, a lot of new buds that are opening, sprouts coming out. So these are going to flower, these are going to be flowering. And so even if you're not used to pruning petunias, you're going, okay, I can see where this is coming back, and it doesn't make you very nervous. So I'm not, ideally you go just above one of those buds. I'm not really aiming too specifically. I'm just making sure that there are some still in there that will send out new growth. So this was a beautiful flowering plant. Now it's just a green little shrub. Now this, again, we're doing this because there's going to be nobody on campus for another month or so. And so we're being more aggressive. If we wanted to keep flowers on it, we could continue to cut back. So we're moving over to another one. I could cut back some of the flowers, but then yet leave some of the lower ones. And so we could keep color and still prune back. So I would be leaving this one, although I'm not going to, because again, I'm going to be very aggressive today. I'm going to show you a video of how these look in a couple weeks. At the end of this video, I'll post how they did on their comeback. My horticulture class is 7th and 8th graders here at the school, but the gardening club in the summer will take 5th and 6th graders along with 7th and 8th graders. Continuing to work up the sidewalk, working more and more plants. I think I got a little more aggressive as we went further along, cutting further back, down lower, knowing that the petunias will grow back. Petunias are quite sticky. A lot of people like to use gloves when they're handling the stems. All right, here's what our sidewalk looks like now. We're going to clean this up here in a little bit, but almost all the blooms are off the flowers, and they're laying in the grass. Here's our smashed down pile of petunia blooms that have been cleaned off. Still have a few more to pick up. This is Mrs. Hay. It's hard to get good help these days. Okay, here we are exactly 1 week later. You can see that these flowers that we had cut back to have no blooms now have already come back and had a significant amount of blooms. But I just passed, we must have cut back more aggressively because they didn't have nearly as many blooms as the ones that we're coming up on now. So this is 1 week later. This is now 9 days after we pruned them. Some of these plants, these are pretty full. Some of the plants are not quite as full, not back to where they were originally, but in a few more days they will get there. So I'm really happy with how these recovered and are looking really nice. If school started tomorrow, I'd be proud to have the students walking from the gym to the green hall with the sidewalk looking like this. But unfortunately, we will not have anybody on campus for another month, so I'm tempted to cut these way back again today, and we'll probably have to do this a few more times before the school year starts so that we can keep these blooming and growing all year long. All right, the decision has been made. We're going to start cutting back today, but because it's gratifying to have some of the color, we're going to do one side of the sidewalk today, leave this side, the near side to me, blooming, and then when we come back, gardening club early next week, we'll prune back this side. Here's a quick update. I thought I'd completed my video already, but I haven't posted, so I thought I'd just add this. Over here is the petunias that we decided not to prune back last Thursday during gardening club. And so this is the following Tuesday. So these are about 2 weeks since they were pruned originally, and then they've been growing back, so they're almost completely full again after 2 weeks. And these are the ones that we pruned back last Thursday, and it's Tuesday now, so what is that, 5 days? And so they're starting to get their blooms back after 5 days, but you can see the difference in the two different sides. 2 weeks ago pruned, 5 days ago pruned. Okay, another thought. This was kind of just a spur of the moment assignment for the class. Our tulips bulbs we didn't get, so we put petunias in. If I was to do this again next year, I'll probably put them in thicker. And if you want to keep color all year long and not have to cut it back and then wait for it to come back, is if I put them in thicker, almost make a full hedge and then prune back every other bush and then let the others grow. So then you can keep them from going to seed, you can keep them growing, but then you can also continue to have blooms all up and down your rows the entire time. So thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching including horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed.